Hey everybody, this is Panfurware LLC. Let that sink in with Billy Moffat.
So thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And Billy, we're always happy to have you with us.
Hey,
We're gonna do a little roundabout where I introduce myself, then Anthony and Eric, and of course I will give you your introduction. So everybody, I am Jadana Armenti of JA Creative Consulting and also a sync agent with Panfurware LLC. I've been in the music industry for about 20 years, and there's nothing I love more than the live sector, but here I am in the sync world. Anthony, what about you?
Call me catching a sip of water there. Hey, this is Anthony here. Thanks for coming by. Anthony Ferrier, the owner of Panfurware LLC, music publishing and placement. Wow, I can swallow. I got a pivot. I pivoted my IT consulting company about 3 years ago back to my love of music and tried to figure out how to merge tech with music. And this is what we have. And we have a great crew here. And Eric will be our next introduction.
My name is Eric Zigler. I am a sync licensing agent for Panfurware LLC. I take a library and I reach out to music supervisors and try to find placements for the songs that we have and for the artists that we have on our repertoire.
And tonight we have with us Billy Moffat, my dear friend, who is an exceptional bass player and composer. And for the last 20 years, I haven't done anything besides music myself for 20 years, but he has been the bass player with the band One Night of Queen, touring the entire world, bringing and breathing new life into the music of Queen. Hey,
hey, how you doing?
Billy! I'm fantastic. How are you, darling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just taking it easy at the minute, growing a big beard, and yeah, apart from that, just enjoying some time, and here writing some tracks and yeah, and see what else I can come up with, and cooking food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's dial back the hands of time and
Okay.
find out exactly where it was that you fell in love with music. What is your first musical memory?
My first musical memory. Oh, I think it was my big brother's friends, and they were all punks, punk rockers, in the 70s, and I was a little kid, and they were all playing the Sex Pistols, and yeah, I kind of fell in love with that. I loved the energy of it, and I thought all those crazy hairstyles, and whatnot, and yeah, I fell in love with it straight away, I guess, and I always wanted to be a drummer, but that never happened, But so again, I always wanted to try and find my way, and I found out one day that I could get a tune out of my gear cable on a rally racer bike, and by moving the tension, up and down for moving the gears, and yeah, I learned that way, and I thought, wow, this is pretty good. So that was my first instrument, was a rally racer, believe it or
Thank God
not.
you weren't using a unicycle.
So then, and it just progressed from there, and I was off school for a long time because I had athlete's feet, and my big brother got me a guitar with the one string on it. Funnily enough, I was used to the one string, like a cable, and I learned some Sex Pistols songs on one string, and yeah, and then my mum got me a bass after that, and I started when I was about 10 years old, and yeah, so I started learning all the Sex Pistols tracks and some other punk tracks, and yeah, then getting into different music like Iron Maiden and try and progress, a bit more difficult from the punk era. And moved on from that, and then it just kept going, snowballing,
Yeah. So when did you start performing with bands? When did you start,
Oh,
going public and going pro?
oh God, it must have been about 17, 18. And, it was the heavy metal bands, and we're doing all the little clubs and whatnot and just writing our own material, as well as doing covers, and so we just started playing around about the small clubs and whatnot, try and get a following. And, we wouldn't do the grunge thing, it seemed to be a big thing. We never did that. So, as I said, we were always into the kind of more technical side of things, the Iron Maidens and the different things like that. And so that's pretty much where that kind of stemmed from. So, and then later on, I was going into recording studios all the time, and I was shelling out a lot of money. And it was years later, I thought, there has to be a different way, and it was one of my friends, and he basically said, you have to get your own setup, and I couldn't afford it, it was, so I thought, no, I can't afford this. So I ended up getting Logic Pro X, and started recording on that, and I thought, this is fun, and then, as I said, when I'm on the road and whatnot, and I got a bit more money behind me, and I ended up buying Pro Tools, and and here we are, I guess,
Well, how is it that you fell into the One Night of Queen gig?
Oh, well, that's quite funny. I had
Most of
this
your
guy.
stories are, Bill.
Well, I was writing material, with my friend up his loft and whatnot, and he says, I've got this CD from this guitarist from Glasgow. His name's David Brockett. He goes, you need to hear this guy. And I was like, oh, go on then. And the guy was amazing. He was like Vinnie Moore, and it was tremendous. And I thought, well, where's he from? He said he's from Glasgow. I was like, oh, right, all right. Nah, I've never heard of him. Fast forward a few months, I was asked to join a band called Iron Maiden, a Scottish Iron Maiden tribute band. So I was like, right, okay, I'll go along and I'll do it. So we did, and David Brockett was the guitarist, and it was tremendous. The guy was amazing, absolutely amazing. I thought, why are you not famous? And so we did that for a couple of years, and I was slaving my ass off in this factory, And he phones me up one day and says, "Look, we're doing the Maiden things and whatnot." He goes, "But did you ever watch Stars in Their Eyes? That was a TV program that it was like X Factor, but back in the day." And I said, "No, I never watched it. No." He goes, "Well, there was a guy on it called Gary Mullen, and he did Freddie Mercury, and he's going to put a band together. Would you be interested in doing the bass?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not really a Queen fan, and at the time, and funnily enough, the first two albums I had when I was a small kid was Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols and News of the World by Queen. And so I said, no, I'm not really that much a fan. I goes, but do you know what? I'll come along and give it a bash. And so I went to the audition, and Gary started singing. And I was like, whoa. I was like, this, this is Freddie Mercury. No way. So, his voice was absolutely amazing. And the band was, David put the band together along with Gary. And so I walked away after it. I think I had something like 10 songs to learn. And so after it, Dave pulled me to the side and said, well, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, count me in, man. This is amazing. This is great. So, and then the ex-wife at the time, I went back and I said, look, I'm going to chuck in my job at the factory. She says, no, you're bloody not. I was like, oh, come on. So anyway, I said, look, I'm doing it and that's it. And I said, look, as long like we might get 6 months work out of this, it could be good. Yeah, here we are, 20 years later. toured all over the world. So yeah, played in Hyde Park twice in London to 45,000 people. You know,
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah, that was amazing. That wasn't for us, by the way. We were just the support. So,
You
but
still
you
play
know,
there.
oh yes, it was so. Yeah, it was tremendous. It's the best cure for constipation, let me tell you. And but yeah, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, so God bless Dave for asking me. You know,
I love your analogy for stage fright. That's absolutely fantastic.
yeah. Well, I think that's global. I think that's you know.
It is definitely a universal thing. So I just wanted to take a second and say hey to Randy who's joined us. So thanks so much for
Hi,
popping in with
Randy.
us. We are speaking to the wonderful Billy Moffat, and we're just talking about his joining the tribute band One Night of Queen, who I have seen personally, and I can tell you, spot on performance. Of course, I never
Thank
saw
you.
Queen live with Freddie, so I don't know how valid my opinion is, but I did see Live Aid, so I'm going with it. I have the opinion to say
Hey, come on.
so. So you already talked to us about the Sex Pistols and
Yeah.
Iron Maiden,
Hmm.
so why don't you run through some of your other influences?
Well, you know, when I used to watch a lot of the films with my dad, it was you know all the spaghetti westerns and things like that. I know I fell in love with the music. You know, back then, and it was Morricone. I didn't know who it was at the time, really, and I just thought this music is amazing. It's making me cry. You know, so kind of thing. So and then he got the album. I think it was Once Upon a Time in the West. And yeah, I never had. I was always on my turntable all the time, and so you know, I started getting into that, and I was always a big fan of the New Avengers. That was a British TV, you know, series, the New Avengers, which was Laurie Johnson that did the music. And if you want to check that out, I think it's amazing. Good 70s vibe, you know. And again, another TV program called The Sweeney, and I think it was a guy called Harry South that did the music. So that was always amazing. Blew me away, all this stuff. And again, you've got David Arnold and people like that, and it just absolutely blew me away. And I thought, you know, I'd love to do something like that. I'd always love to do something like that. And I had some people saying, you know, how dare you, you know, this takes years to do this. And yes, you know, it does. And but I always dreamed that, you know, I'd love to write good soundtrack stuff, you know, or something a bit different, you know. So I just stuck with it and I ignored what other people were saying. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns and try and write some music that I like as well, you know, and see what comes out of it. So I just persevered and locked myself in a room, you know, when I wasn't touring, and just get stuck in pretty much and done what everyone else does, you know, and just learn as you go along. And I mean, I can't read music, you know, so but I just go with what feels good and what sounds good, and you know, keep persevering. And that doesn't work, okay, scrap it. Okay, next, you know, and that kind of the way forward for me. That's how I do it, you know.
Yeah, well, I think it's proven that even though many, 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 many current performers and songwriters don't read music, it's becoming less and less prevalent, and it doesn't inhibit anybody from being a master musician and composer. So that's something that I guess all of our technology allowed for us to compensate for,
Mm.
where, you know, Mozart needed to know that stuff. You can still be Mozart today and not know
Yeah,
different
for sure. Yeah,
different
it's all
things
about
in.
having fun, you know. That's the way my approach to it. Just have fun, throw caution to the wind, and see what works, you know. And if it,
Yeah, and that's
you
the
know,
beauty of rock and roll. So
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
doesn't
for
matter
sure.
what genre you're talking about these days, it all came
No,
about from rock and roll.
yeah.
So Anthony, Eric, you guys want to pipe up and ask anything that's maybe sparked your curiosity?
No, not yet. I'm enjoying the show. This is great information.
Okay,
Yeah.
just fire your questions in. That's...
Yeah, same here, but I'll certainly pop in if I do. I'm loving this conversation.
Well, how about if we take it a little bit deep? Because Billy and I had a conversation yesterday that really inspired me because so many rooms here, and you guys can certainly attest to it. We talk a lot on Clubhouse, but there are a lot of places where it's the same conversation, and the conversation only goes so deep. So I wanted to touch on the tools that you're using now, Billy, because you told me a while back about the choir app that you have.
Oh yeah,
Um, that you basically, I think you held something hostage from your wife Sarah in order to get it as your Christmas present. I don't know what it was
yeah.
that
That was
you,
Hollywood choirs. Yeah.
yeah. So what are the tools that you like using the most right now?
Well, I use like Contact. I'm using a lot of the plugins on that, and East West plugins, and then the BBC Symphony Orchestra. So I'm using that. Hollywood choirs using that, and pretty much I just kind of I dick about with all them and just mangle them all up, you know. And yeah, so the plugins I use are basically East West, and as I said with the BBC ones as well. So I use them, and it's as I said, it's the Pro Tools version 12.8.1.
Do you
So
have like a method of what you do for your songwriting, or you go simply on inspiration?
well, no, well the thing is, generally I'll pick up the guitar or the bass or something like that, and I'll stick down, just or in my phone or something, put down a melody, just one melody. That's it, and it might even last for like 8 bars or something, and I put that down, and I basically, and then if I think, oh well, I'll try it on a cello, and then I'll write a piano part round about that, and then I'll build it, and then I'll just take it and I'll just take it where it goes, for where I think it should go, and so yeah, I don't always have an idea, and I can't play the piano either, so I program everything in. It takes me a little bit, but I can get a good piano line down in a couple of hours or whatever, and I write them all in. I draw them all in. I draw everything in, apart from the actual bass guitar and the guitar, really. So but everything else I program in from pretty much scratch. So it's good fun. I like it doing it that way. I used to like getting in and jamming with different musicians. Don't get me wrong. I'll still bring that on and say like if I can do that, that would be fantastic. But it doesn't seem to be the way that people want to go, which is, I you know, I guess a bit of a shame. But it'd be good to collab again. But the way it stands, I just go into the room and I go into my little world, and my wife doesn't see me. Tell me, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. You
I'm
can
sure
ask Sarah that one. You know.
she's I'm sure very happy just when she hears any kind of noise coming from the room,
Oh,
just to
she
make sure
loves
you
it.
haven't fallen asleep.
Yeah, she dances about. She's like, oh, I like that. Can I have it? I'm like, as you know that story, Judan.
As
And
I do, and we'll get to that story soon.
no, so anyway,
Yes.
but yes, so yeah, she's like, oh no, no, that's great. Can I have it? So a lot of the stuff, I'll say no, it's not good enough, and I throw it to the side, and I'll start again. It's just like throwing. I guess it's like writing a book. You're like, nope, not good enough. I'll throw that scrap to the side and start again. But generally, I'll hold on to these things. As I showed you earlier, I've got a mountain of stuff in my lacy. So, but
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit more worried about your scrap pile at the moment since I know what has landed on there.
Oh yes, there's stacks, literally
So
stacks of stuff. So
I've already told Anthony, and I already told
yes.
you, but I just want to remind you, you no longer have deleting privileges.
Yeah, you did say that earlier. Yeah,
Just so you know. I
yeah,
just
I
wanted to
hear
make
you.
sure
I hear
Sarah
you.
was aware of that too.
Yeah. Oh, she's sitting here. She's listening. She's like, yeah.
She's just
Yeah,
sitting there going, "That's right, Judan said
no,
you're not allowed
she's
to
nodding
delete."
her head. It's all right. Yeah, your best friend's watching me.
So we were also talking yesterday about the whole style of engineering and
Mm.
mixing and mastering, and of course
Oh.
those are skills that might as well come with magic wands in my experience because I
Oh.
have no concept as to what's going on there.
Oh.
But why don't you talk about the work you were doing with what was that song you were talking about? The one you were having trouble with the frequencies clashing?
Oh. Head of the snake. Oh. Oh. Terrible. Just
How
frequency
much time do you
clashing.
spend on that kind of stuff versus actually just writing a song?
Oh. Well, the writing parts, I'd say I think that's the easy part, So uh, that's the fun part. It's when you're trying to mix it and and then to get it to the mastering stage. But but the mixing part, that is no, 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 no. If I could give that to someone else, trust me, I would. And but maybe down the line, hopefully that'll all change. But no, that takes up most of my time. Try to do that mixing side of it. I don't think I was blessed in that side. But I'm persevering. It's sounding not too bad at the minute. But
Well,
when
you
I do
have
get really stuck, when I do get really stuck, I take one of my dearest friends, Gordon McNeil. He's one of the ex drummers of One Night of Queen, and he has a recording studio, Toy Town Studios. It's Stella Sound now. Oh, it's Stella Sound now. I've been informed by Sarah. And and I take it to him, and yeah, he's amazing. Gordon, brother Gordon's amazing, But I like to try and do it on my own, like here, and then I don't want to bother him, kind of thing. But if there's a guy down the line, or a lady down the line that can do it, I'll send all the files and try and do it that way. So
okay. So with all that going on,
yeah.
you have come up with and finally gotten yourself on Spotify, and you were able to upload how many albums worth of material onto Spotify recently?
Well, I only put up, and it's not up yet. Funnily enough, they keep saying that the name doesn't match, because I previously had things on, music on iTunes, and I put like a couple of tracks from that, and it used to be under Billy Moffat Music, and of course I was pretty much. This sounds really funny, but that was pretty much in the early 2000s. I had Billy Moffat Music, and I'd never seen anyone with any music after their name, like Stephen Hay music or, Stuart Wilde music. I'd never seen any of that, So I was, as far as I was aware, I was the very first one to do that. And now everyone's doing it, So, so I thought, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not going to have Billy Moffat music, simply for the fact that because everyone's doing it. So, and because we tried to upload on Spotify, and I was just going under Billy Moffat, and they said these have been previously released under Billy Moffat Music. You have to change the name. So we did, and we're still waiting. And then they sent it back saying this is wrong again. So anyway, so we're still waiting at the minute. So hopefully within the next couple of days, it'll be up and running. So there's I think there's about 15 tracks on it, and it's called Through the Eyes of God. And so
I think we need to get a metadata rescue going on for your Spotify.
So yeah, so hopefully I'll be up within the next couple of days, and that way you can listen to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know I love to get a chance to listen to it. Oh,
Mm.
well, hello, Jeremiah. Thanks for popping in and joining us. We're glad to see you. We're just talking with Billy Moffat, a wonderful composer and the bass player for One Night of Queen. We're talking a little bit about the technical things of recording, mastering, mixing, and all that other stuff that, for the business side of me has no meaning whatsoever because I am oblivious to those skills. But you guys, I know, love that the technical stuff that you're all just going through and working with on a day in and day out basis. So that's really why I wanted to cover this because I know that just about every musician is going through the same
Mm.
struggles and questions and
Yeah.
contemplation of putting their fist through the monitors anytime they run into the same kind of scenario.
Yes, yes, indeed. I have thought about it maybe once or twice, you know. Maybe a bit more than that. Yes,
Well,
yes.
just say no when it comes to doing that.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah.
So, one thing that I'm excited about is getting you into some collaboration
Yeah,
opportunities.
yeah, that'd be good.
So, Nicole, Jeremiah, anybody who comes in the room, Billy is up for hire.
Yeah,
I'm ready to start just putting him out there.
come on.
But we're also going to start introducing you to some of the other Panfurware artists that we have. That
Hmm.
I've been trying to ping as many of them in here as possible because I think that you doing some collaborations with others would just be spectacular. I think that there would be a lot of fun happening in those rooms or on those Zoom calls, as I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
that
for
that would have
sure.
to be.
That's what it's all about. It's about having fun. That's exactly what it's about. Having fun.